This video is official documentation for the initial test run of the first ever Fairiscope, serial number 0001. It's April 25th, 2023, and I'm at Canyon Lake Park in Rapid City, and I'm going to use the Fairiscope out in the gravel beds here in the running current to test out its features, function, and capability, because up till now it's just been all theoretical. The idea of taking a bathoscope to search for fairburn agates in gravel beds on the Cheyenne River. But I got to do a test run here to see if all the conceptual ideas that are built into this model are functional and worth pursuing. To start off the list of features, I've got a carry strap here that clips onto the outside of the Fairiscope, and it can be retracted like this for use so it doesn't get wet. The tube itself is about 5 feet long and about 11 inches in diameter. It has a carry handle here with thumb holes and hand grip holes for holding and steering the scope in use. And this can slide up and down on the tube depending on the depth of water, etc. The hole cut in the top here, the viewing port, looking down through a piece of 1/4-inch plexiglass at the bottom, and there's a glare shroud here on top, just a piece of black cloth that keeps sunlight from reflecting off the lens in the bottom. And the full design and function of the Fairiscope is the lens in the bottom. These are protective feet to keep from scratching the lens, 1/4-inch plexiglass siliconed into the bottom of the tube, and then the holes in the feet here are ports that allow air trapped between the bottom lip of the tube and the lens to escape, and that's important to keep air bubbles on the underside of the lens from reducing visibility through the Fairiscope. This is just a quick shot of the water conditions here on initial test run day, walking out into the current of Rapid Creek where it flows into Canyon Lake. You kind of see gravel beds there, and this water is 6, 8, 10 inches deep in this area. You can see rocks in the water, but the glare and the ripples and the depth of the water reduce the clarity of what you can see on the bottom. And this water is quite clear. If there was any silt in it at all, the visibility would be reduced exponentially as the depth of the water itself changes. Because the Fairiscope is made out of HDPE plastic, which is about 3/16 thickness, the handle is made of wood. It's pretty lightweight. I'll have to weigh this, but I'm guessing it's less than 15 pounds. So it's easy to transport and carry long distances with the carry strap, and just with the handle for short distances. But using it is pretty straightforward, just a matter of sticking it down in the water and taking a look to see what's going on. And the mic is going to sound real funny because the tube is an echo chamber. And that's all there is to using it. There is a bit of glare coming down into the tube from sunlight, so flipping this shroud over eliminates that and makes the view more clear. And I haven't watched this video yet, so I don't know how bizarre this looks with a guy walking around in a creek with a tube and a shroud over his head, but it's very easy to use. And one of the nice features that it was unanticipated is that this is buoyant. In about 8 inches of water, I actually have to push down on it to get the lens close to the bottom. It just kind of floats along, which is really nice. I'm thinking 8 inches of water is probably ideal or optimum for the use, because in shallow water, those feet tend to bounce on the bottom, which is their purpose to prevent the lens from getting scratched. I'm out here filming by myself, so it's all difficult to handle, but I'm going to bring the camera and take a look down that tube and see what kind of video I can get to demonstrate how much clearer it actually looks. It's pretty remarkable. This area is a pretty good example of the fact that the rocks are visible on the bottom, but the glare and the depth of the water kind of reduce visibility, make it more difficult to have a close look at the detailed features of rocks on the bottom. That water is probably about 8 or 10 inches deep. So I'm going to drop the Fairiscope down here and see if I can get the video. And I think in this split screen you get a pretty good idea of the difference, even though the camera is trying to focus on the lip of this thing. So now I got the video going, it's focusing at the bottom of the Fairiscope. The audio is a mess because of the microphone location, but you can see the difference in clarity inside and outside, looking down through 8 inches of clear water. You can also see reflection in the glass, or the plexiglass in the bottom. That ring of light. I don't know what I'm getting for video, but this is with the black cloth across the top of the tube. If this is recording, you can see air current, or air bubbles, eddies under the lens. But those are quickly cleared out because of the air bubble exhaust ports in the legs. So this bit of rather rough video is the initial test run of Fairiscope serial number 0001 in Rapid Creek above Canyon Lake on April 25th, 2023. And I'm going to just enjoy using this a little bit on this section of rocks here and savor the moment a little bit after the thought process and the building process for this Fairiscope. And the fact that it's somewhat buoyant, you just raise and lower this with a couple of fingers, just makes it quite enjoyable to use. The current's pretty strong here, relatively strong in this little section. I can feel the resistance trying to tip the tube, but with the handles it's real easy to steer. And facing upstream or down, it's easy enough to manage and control, and you can do a fairly thorough grid search by waving it back and forth to thoroughly cover a section of gravel bed and hopefully pick out any treasures that are hiding there in plain sight down below the glare of the surface of the water. But it's time to pack it in, wrap it up, and head out. And I can say that I'm quite pleased with the initial performance and results of the effort that went into making this. And I've got to seal up a little leak in one of the corners here. Just a little bit of water drips into the bottom, is pushed into the top side of the lens during use. Must be a pinhole in that silicone somewhere. And I think I'm going to lower the bottom of this cut here so they can get closer down to the lens to look at smaller rocks on the bottom. So couple modifications to make, but as it is, it's a solid performance, and I'm confident it's going to do what it's designed to do.